We're going to talk about WIP boards, and we have talked about forms, learned about forms, that you can use forms to organize tasks as well, going through Excel, saving the data in Excel. And if you're collecting tasks from lots of different people, that's probably the best way to go. But WIP boards are a good tool for within your staff. So if you're trying to organize your office and you need something that works for everyone and everyone can go in and log in and work on it, a WIP board is a good option. So it's a way to organize your tasks. You can make it very simple. The one on the example is from our site. It has a to-do column, a doing column, and a done column. That is the very basic WIP board, and that's the intention is to be simple, but you can make it more complex if you have multiple projects going on. You could have multiple boards. You can do different things, so they can be very complex. You can have a physical one, or you can make an electronic one. We like the electronic version because a physical one requires everyone to be in the office every single day, and that's not a realistic thing for us. So having an electronic one means it can be updated at any time, anywhere, rather than someone being out at their house working and not being able to update their WIP board, the physical WIP board in the office. So there's multiple ways you can use this, and I'll tell you, Trello, this is an example of a Trello welcome board. It's just another software that you can use. We're going to talk about Planner, Microsoft Planner a lot today. But you can organize tasks, you can organize projects, you can keep everyone informed about what's going on in each step of it by using these little cards. I like to use it for projects. It's good for projects. I use it, it says on here personal life too. I use it, Trello. I've used Trello for years in a personal way, keeping track of projects at my house, my kids' appointments, my appointments, just everything that goes on that I have to keep up with. I put in a Trello board, and that way I can keep up with when it needs to be done and what needs to be done for it and all those things. But those are just a couple examples there. I wanted to show you, this is a physical WIP board. And if you've ever been in the College of Business, there's a guy there, Bill Peterson, he teaches Lean Applied to Business Process. This is actually his board. And you notice he uses color here to distinguish the type of the project. So he's got UT projects, he's got the Lean BP projects, and he's got his own personal projects. And so he uses color to distinguish those types of projects. You could also use color to distinguish the person doing the tasks. So if you have a unit of 4 people and you each have a color, then you know that the purple sticky notes are your notes. So there's 2 different ways you can use color there, but I wanted to show you a couple of these physical boards. This is actually an example of a more complex board, and what they've done is they've made a line for each person in their office, and they each have their own sections for to do, in progress, and done. So you can do it like this too, and if you have a physical board, and have multiple people working on their own little section rather than everyone working in one section like the SharePoint example that we use. So what software do you use? So you have 2 options. So you have Microsoft Planner and you have Trello. There are other options out there. I do not know much about them because these 2 are usually the 2 big guns. They're the ones that people choose the most often. We're going to talk about Microsoft Planner, and this one back here is an example of it. And then this is Trello with a blue background. They both work the same. They both have the same capabilities. Both will integrate with SharePoint. It's just your preference. Like I said, I used Trello for years on a personal level, but we use Planner in the office, and I don't know, I just prefer to use Planner for business use. Trello, I think, is just geared more towards personal stuff. So we're going to show you how to jump in there and create a WIP board, and I want to show you a couple of examples of them today too, electronic in live ones. So just like we have been the past few times with all of the Microsoft products that we've talked about, you can get to the Planner software by going to your waffle, and it'll be in your options. If it's not, you can go to all apps and you'll see it, but Planner, there it is. And so when you open it up, this is what it'll look like. If you have Planner boards that you've already made for other uses, they'll be listed here. And you can create a new plan here and start a new board. But I'm also going to show you on the SharePoint side how you can do it from your SharePoint side. So if you go into SharePoint, and I'm going to go to, so this is our shared services page. And what I've done is I've just added a blank page, and I'll show you really quickly how I did that. So I went home, I went to new, and I chose page. Okay, so this is the blank page. And you can start Planner from SharePoint if you want it to be housed inside of your SharePoint site if you have an existing site. And so you'll edit this page, and you can hover wherever you want the board to show up. You hover until you see the little plus sign. And then planner is going to be one of your options here. And I got to find, there it is. So there's planner. If you prefer Trello, Trello is in here. Trello is at the very bottom down here. We're going to choose planner. You can choose an existing plan that you've already created, or you can add a new plan. So in here, it's chosen the existing plan because I titled this page WIP. It's saying, okay, you have a WIP board already that's labeled WIP. Do you want to insert that? And so it's inserted that. But if you want to create a new plan, you just click on create new plan and it'll build a new one. And it'll just like this with no cards on it. It'll just have to do doing and done on there. I'm not going to build a new one yet because I don't want to have to go back and delete that off there. Okay, so here are the ones that I've already created for different purposes. So I built this one to show as an example to some people, and I see Janice Wade laughing because she has one assigned on there because she was using it as a test guinea pig for being awesome. So she is continuing to be awesome. But so you start out with no cards, and so when you add a task, you're adding the card, and you just give it a task name. We'll say test. You set a due date, and you assign it to someone, and then you add it. And it's down here. So that's your new task. You can add a label. So this is where you can use colors. You can use colors for indication of who is doing it. You can use a color for what project it is. There's unlimited options here. So you can have, however you want to use it. You can add a label there. You can type notes in here. You can add a checklist. You just start typing in add items and enter, and it'll pop up with another option to add another item. So we'll say do this first, do this second, do this last. Okay. And so there's your little checklist. So if you have multiple pieces to this one task, then you can assign those in a checklist and check them off as they're done. You can add attachments. You can have comments here for someone else. So say you're creating this task and you're assigning it to someone else. You can put a comment in here, whatever they need to know. And then it gives you some suggested attachments depending on what the task is, and you can add them from here, but you can also just click on add attachment and search and find the attachment that you want. So let's just say we want to add an attachment. It does give you an option to go into the team files for the SharePoint site, or you can do a link, or you can go from your computer. We'll say from computer, and we'll just attach this picture right here. When you attach this picture, you can show the picture on the card, or you cannot. It doesn't matter either way if you want to do that. If you do, it'll look like the one with the horse picture on there. So once you're done with this, you just close it out and it's saved on here. And so when you're doing the task, say somebody's assigned you this task and you're working on it, you just move it over to doing. And then when you finished it, you move it over to done, and it'll mark it as completed, and it'll show the date you marked it as completed and everything. So it's that easy. A cool thing about this is it integrates with Microsoft Outlook. So when you have tasks that are late, it tells you they're late, tells you what they are, gives you a description of them. When you first assign them, it sends you an email and says you've been assigned a task. So it does notify you. So it's really nice that it integrates with your Outlook. Keep you on your toes there so you don't forget about things. When you're completing cards, you can complete them here by checking them here. You can open them and mark them as completed, or you can drag them over here. If you mark it as completed while it's still in the doing column, it will stay in the doing column and it'll show us completed tasks. You can easily just move it over. So there's more than one way to complete it. Oh, at the top here, this gives you statistics on your tasks. So if you want to know, if tasks are being left, they're being done late, it'll show you what's been done late, how many are completed, all that. The priorities, because it's got a priority on there. I did not show that. Let me go back for just a second. So priority right here, I've got medium. It's defaulted to medium. You can put urgent, important, medium, or low. Let's just do that urgent and see what it does. Okay, so there you go. Now you've got one urgent. And of course, as more tasks are on here, more tasks are completed, you'll have more data. But then it shows you who you've assigned them to. And of course, the urgent is gray and the medium is green. So it shows who had the urgent task there. But it gives you a lot of really cool data. You can also look at the schedule view. So it shows it like a calendar. So it's going to show what's due on the day it's due. And it'll just go back to the card. If you click on it, it'll just open the card back up and let you look at all the details for it. So that's kind of a nice feature too. You could always just leave it on the schedule feature and add another one just like you do on your Outlook calendar. You can add another task in there, same process as before, and it'll add it to the calendar. So if you like the calendar view better, you can use that instead of the cards. Okay, I think that is everything that I wanted to show you about Microsoft Planner and WIP boards. Be kind, you never know what someone else is going through.